We're back, people, and today we're breaking a film on Achane, Miami Dolphins running back, who has been the best player on the Dolphins team, not just offense, just team all around through the first 2 weeks, has been wildly productive, both as a runner and a receiver, especially as a receiver. I feel like his running is still going to, take some step ups, just like compared to last year, it's been a little bit down, but I think that has to do with some of the blocking. And there's still some things I think he can improve upon vision-wise on certain plays, but Achane has been lights out. One of my favorite players on the team since the Dolphins even drafted him. You're going to have to ride with players like him. Hopefully Mostert's healthy. The running game is going to be huge for the Dolphins offense and, these coming weeks with Skylar Thompson at quarterback, and then him making plays out of the backfield as a receiver has been so impressive. But yeah, really excited watching Achane play every single week. Just a big play waiting to happen, just waiting for him to break one to the end zone, because those big plays will be very nice, but also just being more efficient, allowing him to work a lot on like these more the inside stuff. Like Dolphins run a lot of the crack tosses, but working some more gap scheme on the interior, or maybe even just inside zone. I feel like that has been open for the Dolphins just with how teams are playing against them. So it'll be interesting to see how they adjust and give people work, because I do think the Dolphins running back room is going to be huge, and Achane is the best player in that room. Here we have like a third and short situation. They come out in like a split back look. You just get Achane going up the middle, and I think Achane is an underrated runner in this area, because he's not the biggest guy, and everyone knows him for his speed, but I think he is a good runner. I think he takes contact well. He's efficient with his footwork. He gets up there into it, braces for the contact, boom, bounces off of it, stays on his feet, is able to pick up like 15 yards. So I think this type of stuff is going to be open for Miami. We'll see more examples of this. Even on like a 3rd and 1, teams, the linebackers, you can just tell with how teams are playing Miami, they're really expecting crack tosses in a lot of situations, especially when they have like a receiver this close. Like they start to point and feel that it might go there. So getting those, runs up the middle, there's been big opportunities for that. And like if you look at the best teams in the NFL right now, offensively, it's the Cardinals and the Saints, and they are the 2 highest run EPAs right now. So running the ball is like how you're succeeding as an offense. And honestly, these little dump offs to Achane are kind of like an extension of the running game. Here's like a 3rd and long situation where they get Achane going. They have like these lead blockers out, basically like a screen, but with, receivers and tight ends blocking. So it doesn't, get all these guys to follow in pursuit. And just look how fluid Achane is, man. Makes the first guy miss. He does like these little subtle micro movements that make him so hard to hit with his like fluid hips. His ability to change direction on a dime, like right there. It's these moves combined. Like he stops on a dime, change direction, able to chain this next move into another one to feel this. Like he is constantly ahead, and that's how you get yak. Like this is all happening at a very high processing level. Like obviously there's the athleticism, but some guys that are super athletes kind of struggle to get yak at times, and it's not a problem for Achane. Like this play is a good example. Sometimes yards after catch starts before the catch actually happens, because he gets a one-on-one here. And you can tell he's starting to adjust and prepare to make this guy miss before he even catches the ball. He is stopping his momentum as the ball is about to hit his chest. And boom, stop on a dime, make that guy fly past him, and then accelerate upfield. Looks like he's jogging sometimes because he's moving so fast. But this is just an example of like why I think he's probably been the most efficient player yak-wise on the team. Even with people like Tyreek and Waddle, who are obviously great with the ball in their hands and can create big explosive plays, I think Achane kind of has the best feel for like that anticipation before getting the ball. Here he is working up the middle. I think he has good footwork, really efficient. I love there's like so much more space created on like these concepts. They're pulling the right guard across, some gap scheme stuff going on here. They're down blocking, working off the back of this stuff. Reads this hole pretty nicely. Sees 43, knows that he's gonna have a block here, but he presses up into it. I like how he presses up here and then is able to make this cut to the outside. Once he gets this guy to commit, giving his tight end an easier block, get it back to the outside, but stay on like this vertical path just to stay, tight to this, so he doesn't float too far into these guys. If he floats too far into these guys, he's not going to fall forward for, an extra few yards. So just like stay on his path, working the interiors of defense, I feel like is an underrated part of Achane's game. So that's really, really nice to see. And then just continuously, here's kind of another example of him getting that yak, like, right before he catches the ball, he's shifting his momentum upfield. He knows he has the space, but he's catching the ball. Okay, he's starting to flip his hips upfield at the catch point, and then boom, accelerate and just get upfield instantly. That's the things that I love to see. That's why Achane has been so efficient as that underneath guy. And then this type of thing, so special for running backs to make plays like this. For him to get this ball thrown, Skylar's under pressure, just chucking it up one-on-one versus a linebacker. And then this isn't just him beating a linebacker with athleticism and speed down the field. It's him tracking the ball, jumping vertical, attacking at the ball at its highest point with your hands, and then pulling it down away. Just an insane play that, like, 95% of running backs in the league don't make. And I've seen Achane do this now a few different times where he attacks the ball at its highest point down the field. He's not just going to be, he doesn't just have to be like a screen or a dump off running back. Like, he can make plays downfield in the passing game, and that's something I do want to see more of as well. But I understand, like, this is basically an extension of the running game. Like, this is a 3rd and long. Like, the Dolphins being able to convert 3rd and longs, like 3rd and 13, like this, where you just give him a screen, good blocking out in space. He does a great job of setting this up. You can see, like, playing it with patient. He knows no one's super close in pursuit, so he can be patient with this. Allows his blocks to set up, presses this to the inside. You can see him pressing to the inside here, gets these guys to freeze their feet, and allows these blocks to get up to them. And now once he does that, boom, get to the outside, make another safety miss, get upfield, just maximizing yardage throughout the play with, you know, his athleticism, his understanding of, you know, where people are, leverage, blocking, how to manipulate defenders. It's just super, super impressive. Love this concept. And this is the type of stuff I want to see Miami do more. Like, the motion across with angled gets him this, like, one step, boom. And then now he cuts the end off. It just gets him a really good aiming point for his block. And then you're running this gap scheme stuff. Look how Tua's doing this. Sometimes they do, you know, this up front, and then they pitch it to the outside. And, like, you can just see, like, this linebacker, look at 54. Like, he, even with a pulling guard, like, the motion gets him to get this way. Even with a pulling guard going across, usually their keys would be to float the opposite way. They just get moved by that real quick motion and all this stuff the Dolphins usually do. And it just creates this huge space. Everyone blocks it up perfectly, and Achane's able to just hit a big crease. That's something Miami needs to do more of at a consistent level. It will at least force teams to respect those plays, especially with Achane on the field, because teams with Achane on the field are expecting these crack tosses. Like, when you're in this formation, like, look how the Dolphins are set up. You have a tight end here to easily crack toss. This guy to pull around, like pin pull concept with your tackle and your tight end. And it works in this situation, but with how Buffalo played it, either was a play like this where you gained like 10 to 15 yards, or you lost 3 to 4 yards. And I just don't think that's a sustainable way for an offense to work. But when you get Achane out in space like this, he's going to make big plays. And in this Buffalo game, he was playing on like an ankle sprain. Like, obviously not like a high-end one, but like, he was playing in this game injured and was clearly the best player on the Dolphins offense. Here's a pretty efficient run, I think, on some outside zone. I like seeing more like outside zone, like where they're running stretch. It doesn't have to be like toss. But here he's reading this. Kind of when you on these like outside zone plays, you're reading end man line of scrimmage down. So he sees that this guy is starting to set the edge here. He sees that he might want to get to the outside, just based on this guy's leverage that he might be able to get there. He has the outside leverage, but it's not like completely set and forced there. Now once he commits to it, Achane is able to make these guys over pursue a little bit, stick his foot in the ground, change direction, then get upfield, pick up like 4 or 5 yards on the play. Because the cutback, I mean, with his aiming point here, like, yeah, he could stick his foot in the ground here and immediately cut it back, but that's just not how the play is set up to go. He's still working down the line, and he wants to kind of hit up through here because, that's going to be, like, it gets pretty tight, even though this guy's inside leverage, this guy's outside leverage. That's kind of where we want to be to go, but it just doesn't give you enough space. So he presses the outside and creates his own space just with, how he attacked the play. And then Achane just consistently getting the ball in big situations. This is the one where he got them down to like a 3rd and 1 on a 2nd and 10 situation. Just continuously. I think that's the play he got hurt on too, but just making plays. Here he scores the touchdown. It's the 2nd touchdown of the season. I didn't show the other one because it's just a 1-yard rushing touchdown. Dolphins love to run these escort swing passes where you have this lead blocker. Achane catches the ball and just makes the guy miss. He sees that he works to the inside, even though he doesn't get a clean block. Achane is able to just accelerate, walk into the end zone. Just really, really fun player. Exciting to watch him be used. Set up his blocks, lead blocks. I feel like he just does a better job in tight spaces than people think. Like, look at him work off the back of angled here. Press to the outside. Boom, cut to the inside, but still stay off the back of his box. He stays tight to it. And he's making guys miss. Very light on his feet. Like, his feet are just constantly changing directions. And it just has the dump off option. Like, that's why Dolphins are facing a lot of deep coverage, cover 2. still got to be able to send your guys deep to create this space, because if you're sending your guys deep, make them respect this over the top. You have this wide open option underneath, and that's something the Dolphins will have to be able to do just at a more consistent level. They clearly are showing that they can make these plays offensively. They just kind of beaten themselves with either whether it was turnovers, and whether that was from backup receivers making bad plays, or was on the quarterback, or was on the O-line. They've kind of just beat themselves in a lot of those situations, like very avoidable. They've ruined drives with like dumb penalties that didn't change anything either. Like it was just a holding on the opposite side of the play that had no effect on the play. It's very like small things that the Dolphins offense is kind of struggling with. And the offenses around the league are struggling too, but Achane, I feel like, has been really lights out, and the Dolphins are going to need to go on the back of Achane. Mostert, I think getting Jalen Wright more involved, especially on some interior runs, I think can really help using some fresh legs, especially because I think Jeff Wilson's kind of recovering from an injury, nothing major, but relying on the running game, maybe using all four throughout games just to keep them fresh while, the D lines on the other team get withered down. So if you guys are the DMH, like, comment and subscribe,